everyone. So I thought to myself that since the Tom Baker console was obviously the most popular thing that I've posted, and really the only thing that I've posted, I thought I would show off some of the other Doctor Who creations that I've done along the same lines. Just little tidbits for displays, shelves, and stuff like that. It's really not much because that took up the majority of my time. Thank you, Chuck. But I figured I would share it anyway. You might get a kick out of it, and who knows, maybe it'll inspire you to make some of your own stuff. If I can do it, you can do it. So to kick things off, I thought I would start out with the easiest one that basically anyone with a printer can do. It's a paper mock-up of the anniversary edition, the Five Doctors Special Edition console that stayed on the show from Peter Davison straight through into the end of the classic series. This is something that I printed out. I honestly don't remember where I found this online. I will try and find it again, but it has been several years since I've printed this out. Now, I believe it's Action Figure Theater. Their website has a version of this, along with several others that are really awesome. But the version on their website, at least at the time of printing this, the structure is all the same. The detail on the panels was lacking, to be honest, and quite frank. It was lacking. But I found this one somewhere online. Someone else, I'm guessing, I'm not trying to point fingers, but I'm guessing they borrowed the design for printing and then added their own detail in. And for something that's printed out on card and then glued together in about 10 minutes, it really looks awesome. It's beautiful bold coloring on all the control panels. It withers a little bit the closer you get to it, but all in all, especially on a display shelf, it looks really good. I quite enjoy it. It's got all the right shape to it. I had hoped originally to attempt to make this console as I've done with this one, but it would take some major redesigning for the internal mechanisms to make the rotor go up and down, as the basic shape here, how it collapses in the center, makes it really, really tight in there. I made the time rotor myself. Basically, I think it was just a very thin sheet of plastic, probably some packaging plastic that I cut up very time-consumingly into the semi-star pattern. I do believe I actually did the math and printed out separate templates for each one of them to trace and then cut out. Unfortunately, my glue job in there with the spacers is not exactly accurate. Anyway, I whipped it together real quick, just out of boredom, really, one day. I need to replace the outer glass on it. It's just one of those cheap, it's the same one as that. It's a cheap traveler's kit. You get like 4 bottles, plastic bottles for putting your your shampoo or soaps or whatever you want. I think they're 1.5 inches in diameter, somewhere around there. Anyway, cut the top and bottom off. And this one obviously is not very clean looking. It's very dirty, but it was just a stand-in. I was keeping the nice one for doing the Hartnell console, which I still haven't done yet. Anyway, it just gets kind of slotted in there where the spacer is. And I've got the inside all blacked out with some marker, best I could do to keep it from bleeding any light out. And then this is just what I had handy for a light here. But I used to have a plug-in LED light underneath it, and it would just light up the time rotor, somewhat reminiscent of the show, if I could get it straight. Maybe if I turn off this, oh, I can't. If I turn off that light, you can see it better. Well, this is as dark as I can get it in here because I totally forgot that the outlet where all my power is running through also runs through the same switch that the lights run through. So, how's that for white balance? So anyway, that's that one. Not much more to tell about this one. It was pretty quick and easy. There. I was eventually going to do the whole room using the sort of action figure theater setup. Just never got around to it. But same thing with this one. I just never got around to that one either. Hey, maybe a future video. Who knows? Moving on. So next one, I've got the what was this called? I don't even remember. It was for the character options figures. This is Matt Smith's version because that's when I purchased it. I purchased this online, I believe, from the character options website or something like that. I don't remember, it was a long time ago. But I remember seeing reviews for this one. Whoops, there we go, there's the front of it. She still lights up, but you can't really see it for all the other lighting in here. Oh, but she still works. Listen to that horrible sound though. I loved the glow effect on this one, where when it's on, the windows light up. I believe the police box signs light up too, and the interior, of course, lights up as well. But you get that horrible sound chip sound. So for display purposes, having it open was not the greatest. But having the lights glow looked awesome, especially, obviously at night in the dark. So at the time, this was the one that was on sale, and I thought, without even doing any research whatsoever, I thought that at least the police box signs might light up. Do these ones light up? Turn you off. I don't remember. Maybe they don't. Oh, there you go. Anyway, I thought that this one, at the very least, the inside would light up when the door was open, much the same this one does. And so I bought it online, and it was shipped to me. And yeah, it didn't. I didn't do any research. Only the lantern lights up. I think the lantern stays on. Yes, it flashes when you pick it up and you put it down and you do the whole spinny. Whee! Look at me, role playing. And then once it was done, all the sound effects and stuff, the lantern would come on and stay on. But nothing else lit up, and I was very disappointed with that. So I took it upon myself to light up the inside. So you'll see the back compartment here where the batteries go has been removed, and there's a little tiny plug-in right there added in. She should still work. Let me see. There, you on? No. Now you're on. Yeah, see, the lantern lights up. Oh, she flashes while she's in flight. And then this one's got a much better sound chip. Anyway, I won't deafen you with that one. There. Unfortunately, you do have to have the battery cover off. I never bothered to drill a hole through the battery cover because I kind of wanted to keep it nice looking. But typically it sat in the back corner of a shelf anyway. So you never saw the cord that was attached to it. But let me find that, because it's wandered away on me. So you basically, I think it's a 4.5 volt DC adapter. You just plug her in. And then when you open it up, basically all I did was drill out the top very messily and shoved inside I think it was just a dollar store, one of those little clickable, Iron Man looking spotlights, and cut the battery wire off of it and just rigged her into the adapter there. So all you have to do is reach inside, turn it on, and completely blow your white balance. There we go. Ran the extension cord over to somewhere that's not attached to the same switch. So now I can use my lights. Or turn off all my lights, I should say. Anyway, so that was the general idea. At least it would give off a nice ominous glow. So you could have the door open with, any one of them. Although the interior would suggest Matt Smith. Have him sticking out the door and just be nicely lit up on the display case. Again, most fitting in the dark, but that's just the nature of it. There we go, all back to normal. Anyway, on off, very simple. You can do that with nothing but a dollar store little lamp, a knife or a drill or whatever you want to use to carve out the top. You just take it apart, run the wires down, boom. Easy peasy. Not great, but it works. And next one is a little bit bigger. There. Now, this is going to be fun to get in frame here. So this is obviously the character options version of the inside of Matt Smith's Tardis. What season was this? Season 5? Yeah. There we go, Mr. Matt. So this one was inspired by, once again, oh, look at all my glue has failed. It's been sitting in a box for a while. All these lights were glued up here. Why don't you fix that? There we go. Got all the top lights glued back in. Anyway, this is based on, or inspired by, I should say, someone else's work. I don't honestly remember the person's name, but I know they posted this on the TARDIS Builders forum, so I will find his page for his version and link it in the description. Go check it out. It was really neat. This was just a quick slap together fiddly project that I had. Basically just using Christmas lights, if I remember. You can see it's not really finished. I never did get a chance to come around and tidy it up and make it look, well, better. I do eventually want to add, oh, sorry, Matt. I want to add some more wires dangling from the top to basically to hide the fact that this power cord is here. And, you know, a little bit more show accurate. As well as, you know, underneath, you can't really see down here, but there's not much to see minus, you know, again, a wire. Now this one I did also want to try. I've got the character options 9th, 10th console, just the console itself. That's the one that inspired the Tom Baker console, actually, because that one lights up and it moves up and down, although incredibly noisily. But I don't have the rest of the room that goes with it. I've just got the console and the flooring that goes around it, although the console goes underneath the flooring. So eventually, if all goes well, I will hopefully get around to building something sort of like this, although a little bit more screen accurate, the room itself, and hopefully showcase it for you. That will be, you know, down the line. This one I was thinking, because there is quite a decent amount of room in here, that it would be possible to make a rotor for it that would move up and down. However, it would require obviously a whole new, at least interior mechanism here. Mechanism, there's no mechanism, it's just a piece of plastic. But I'm pretty sure it's all one chunk, and that would require completely redone time rotor, which would be fun. Anyway, maybe that will come to pass as well. So basically all I did was add some lights to it. I added some lights that shine down from the top. They're blue and green lights, but they mix together to a nice little kind of teal light. And then I think there's white ones in the console itself lighting up the panels and the bottom of the time rotor. And then I also added some blue lights down here on the bottom. I'll get a better shot of it in a second. Basically I just stuck them in some green straws and they added, you know, some nice light piping effect down there. And then these, whatever you want to call these weird ship exhaust things, I added some green lights in them too, so they light up. And also back here, it was just an open space, so I added, well, it's just a plastic bag actually, but underneath was, I don't even remember what it was. It was some sort of dollar store lighting up thing. It switches colors in between, you know, blues and greens and purples and stuff like that. Anyway, I will plug it in. And just a little switch over here that the glue is almost fallen off of. So I will have to fix that, but it just, there. Now you can hardly see that whatsoever. You see, this is what I was talking about back here, where it just kind of slowly color changes. Why I added that? Well, why not? I shall go turn off the lights. There we go. That's a little bit better, eh? So as you can see, the inside of the panels light up. I think there's 1 or 2 lights in the middle section here in between the panels that light them up. I don't honestly remember. I'd have to take it apart, and I'm just not going to do that right now. Because it was Christmas lights, it had, you know, standard red, yellow, blue, green. So what I did was I used 2 of the blue lights down here. One sec. So I used 2 of the blue ones down there on the bottom where I was talking about the straws there. So while they're green straws with blue lights in them, it gives it that sort of pseudo teal effect. It's coming across a lot brighter on the camera than it is in actual life, but you know, that's just the nature of the iPad. I've got some of the orange and red lights down underneath the floor just to light up the walls a little bit. And then inside, focus please. There we go. Well, not really, but anyway, I've got 2 green lights inside those. Whatever you call them, I don't remember. What does it matter? And then for the panel itself, you can see, focus. For the panel itself there, it's got the inset lights. They're right inside of it, lighting up every console panel. And then the bottom inside of the time rotor, those are all white lights. That was a separate light string, I do believe. Then I've got the orange and red lights, some more of them strung around the top just to shine down on everything lighted up, including matte. And then the rest of the blue and green ones shoved in the top there to kind of give the top of the rotor a little bit of a bright teal lighting effect. So I kind of like, I know it's not exactly accurate, but I kind of like how it even separates in the time rotor. So you have the blue and green on the top, down to the top piece, and then the white piece is totally white. And then I've got that, which is, well, there we go. It's sort of coming across now. Added detail, I guess. Well, not really detail, but just instead of a big giant hole in it like that one, I added that to kind of give a, I don't know, mystical vibe. I don't know. Color changes. What can I say? So once again, this one just runs off a standard DC adapter. These were battery operated lights, so it must be somewhere in the 4.5 volt range. But this way you can plug it in and leave it, you know, put it on display, and there you go. So I think I'm going to split this one up into 2 parts here, because this one's starting to run a little bit long as it is. So I've got 3 more pieces that I'd like to cover in the next one, unless I've forgotten something, but I don't think I have. Anyway, stay tuned for part 2. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd really appreciate it.